The US Capitol was briefly locked down this morning after police received a call about a possible active shooter. It all feeds into heightened tensions, though, around the arraignment of Donald Trump, who will appear in court tomorrow morning, our time. Sky News Washington correspondent Anneliese Nielsen, she's been watching over developments all morning. Anneliese, the US Capitol on edge, though.
On edge indeed, and the response was very quick to this call that police now say they believe was a false call. Indeed, they found no evidence of an active shooter, but it didn't mean they didn't respond very quickly with guns drawn, leading those staffers who were in those two buildings in the Senate complex next to the Capitol building out as they evacuated. And others were told to shelter in place, shut their doors. This is all in the lead up to the arraignment of Donald Trump here in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. This will be his third arraignment, third indictment, the first US president to ever be indicted, and now we're looking at number 3. The allegations are that he contributed to the disruption of a legal process in the lead up to January 6th, and prosecutors think his conduct could be criminal. Of course, he denies that. He's willing to fight this, and it will all play out in the 2024 presidential election campaign. But one of the interesting things to note in all this is one of the key witnesses is his former Vice President, Mike Pence, who's also running for president in 2024. He's been giving evidence to this committee that's given him evidence that's been used in the indictment document. He had this to say today.
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. So, Martha, people can read the indictment.
Donald Trump was very quick to post on Truth Social saying, "I feel badly for Mike Pence, who's attracting no crowds, enthusiasm or loyalty from people who, as a member of the Trump administration, should be loving him. He didn't fight against election fraud, which we will now be easily able to prove based on the most recent fake indictment and information, which will have to be made available to us. Finally, a really big deal. The VP had power that Mike didn't understand, but after the election, the rhinos and Dems changed the law, taking that power away." Donald Trump is still in the poll as the leading candidate for the Republican nomination. It's, I think, a fair bet to say Mike Pence wouldn't be his number 2 on the ticket if he does succeed.
No, that's true. Rhinos, Republicans in name only for those unaware. Who's likely to be the number 2? Anneliese, any talk of that?
I don't know. Who's going to be the number 1?
But if Trump...
It's way too early to tell. I think the options...
Sorry.
Look, the options if Donald Trump does actually become the nominee, it's probably Tim Scott hasn't been too critical of him. He's a very popular Republican in the Senate, and he has a lot of funding. Nikki Haley also touted as that, but she doesn't. She's probably been more critical of him lately. There's way too many variables to call it.
Just curious.